Greetings, everyone. I was wondering what to do today, and I thought, how about we use one of our gifts of Reiki that kind of gets a little bit forgotten about? It's our more intuition side and using that for guidance. So we all get hooked up with the wonderful gifts of healing, which is wonderful, of course, and our own self-enlightenment. So we work on ourselves, which is absolutely essential to keep building up our energies. We know that as we go forward. And that includes the trying times as well as the good times. But there's also the aspect that I found when I first got into Reiki that I suddenly started drifting into areas I would never expected, which is using oracle cards. So I thought today I'm going to knock out three little cards for us, seeing the messages that we need to hear for ourselves that may resonate with you or may not. Whenever I do these videos or card reads in general, I'm kind of obliged to say for entertainment value only, just to cover myself. So, for example, if you was to see me saying about you need to change your job and you go and jack your job in, and they say why? Because Gary told me to. No, it's not about that at all. This is about just giving you some advice. And that's what I believe card readings are about. It's giving you a heads up. It's not about going into sort of like crystal ball stuff, wearing some funny headscarf and something cross my palm with silver. No, no, no. That's fairground stuff. This is like, I like to think this as helpful advice that we take or leave. And so, as always, if it does resonate with you, you think, yeah, okay, Gary's got a point here. Maybe you want to take some action on it. Or it may be that you think, nah, not for me, and you've probably already gone. Let's be honest. That's fine as well. But let's get on with the reading. I'm going to knock out three for you, so we'll see what comes up today. So, straight to the top. I'm going to take one by one off the top here. And the first one, well, here we go. It's Lady with the Scales there, Balance. I tend not to read the little message at the bottom to the end because I don't want to be influenced. I like to give the message that comes up for you. So when I look at this lady, I'm drawn to the eyes. Drawn to the eyes there. So if you look there, there's a lot going on, isn't there, obviously, but it's the eyes that stick out for me. And when I look at that, no pun intended, it is for me about how is your life panning out right now for you? Look from a higher perspective, is what I'm getting from here. So we often find ourselves in what I call linear vision. We're very much like we can't see because our head's almost like this. We can't look that way. We can't look that way because we're so narrow-minded. We're so focused on what's ahead that we can miss out so much of the wonder all around us. Of course, it's good to have some idea where you're going, but aren't we all driven by you got to smash this goal, you got to smash that, you got to smash that, which is kind of like it's got its benefits. I'm not knocking that, but you forget about getting there. You forget about how you got to those targets. So if you're forever being driven in that fashion, make sure you kind of like appreciate how you got there too. And when you're so linear, when you are driven, that's where I've got to get to. Maybe you're missing out on what else is out there. So you might be going from, say, A to B, but if you went this way, you would actually get further on the travel, further on your road, because you're meeting different energies, different people, different possibilities. So for me, this is the balance. It's finding the balance for yourself on what's right for you. It's not about anybody else telling you, you must do this, you must do that. I don't like being anyone telling me I must do that or I need to do this. It's what works for you. You go at the pace that's right for you. You enjoy the journey as best you can. And maybe you're one of those people who thinks, I don't need goals. I'm just going to let my life unfold. Now, that to me is true flow state because you trust in your own guidance, you trust in your intuition that you'll go on the way. And you maybe point I like to think you're just orienteering yourself in a certain direction. So you might think to yourself, let's imagine you're on a plane, and this is the ultimate kind of like freestyling, isn't it? So you might say, I'd like to go, I don't know, let's go eastbound. Let's imagine you're going to Berlin and you may have a particular street and everything else it's calling out for you for some reason. You want to go to Berlin. That's kind of like pretty focused, isn't it? Very narrow-minded, uh, but you're very driven. You know exactly where you're going. Or you could say, go to totally the other extreme. I'm going to get on a plane. I'm going to go east. That opens up huge possibilities, doesn't it? And it's trying to find the right way of approach for you. You could be that person that needs that absolute pinpoint accuracy of knowing exactly where you're going, or you may find a more sort of like spatial, open spatial route that will take you where you go. All I'm saying is that's what I'm getting with the eye showing me. It's getting like a nice high point of vision and seeing where you are in your life in general. I've used the travel one, but it could apply to anything. It could be love, career, health, wealth, whatever, holidays. Just look from a higher point where you are right now and where you'd like to take your energy. That for me is like the balance because then you're allowing yourself the freedom that you need, but also, how much focus do you require? That is up to you. And so let's see, read the words at the bottom. Thank you, angels, for bringing my life into balance. So yeah, that's kind of that interpretation was coming for me. I was looking from above, seeing where you wish to go. Over to you. You go where you wish. And that's how it should be. Without further ado, let's crack on with the second card. And if you kind of like a reading for yourself, if you're looking there, think, oh, actually, Gary's not too shabby, is he? I might give him a go and give me a reading. Drop in the comments reading, and we'll get in touch. I should send you to my site. We can communicate, and then we can sort of like see where we go from there. Okay, second one up. Oh, I like this one. So, spiritual gifts, Archangel Raziel. Now, I know pretty much for a fact that most of the people that are going to come here are going to be drawn to Reiki. They're probably already attuned to Reiki, be it level one, you've got an interest in Reiki. You could be a master who's been doing this for years and years and years. But you find that Reiki opens up your gifts. And I found myself when it opened my gifts up, I went on a road I would never have expected in a million years. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I'd be training people in Reiki, giving readings, like readings like this, I would have said you was bonkers. It was just not on my radar. But this is now about you, about where you wish to go from here. I love the fact we're coming into the heart. And the spiritual gifts for me definitely do come from the heart space, and we combine the energies. So try not to get in your head too much. We connect there, yes, but we're connected here. We're connected to our Tanden, or as I often say to people, around your sacral chakra. If you're not sure what your sacral chakra is, it's pretty near your belly button. But this, and around your belly button, all connected, and we build the energy. So it's like I've just noticed he's giving Reiki, isn't he? Oh, Raziel there, he's giving Reiki to us all. So I'm going to accept some of that healing. Yeah, I'll take some angelic healing. And that's kind of how it works sometimes. So it's literally that intention sending there. And he's definitely connected the third eye to the heart space and curiously sending energy through his hands. And I want to say, oh, Raziel, don't forget the Tanden. That's where we build from. But for me, this is about sharing our energy, sharing our light, and finding the path for us, finding our own path, our own spiritual gifts. Now, people often get hooked up. They've got certain expectations of spirituality, haven't we? And I'm no different. But we think about, oh, if you've got to be spiritual, you've got to you've got to be all happy all day, all smiling all day. Things happen, you just go, it's all part of the plan, it's all good. And we never get angry. And I'm going to say, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. We are allowed to feel those feelings. We are allowed to be human. And for me, spirituality is knowing that there's a higher purpose, but also remembering we are a human being. We are allowed to be human. We are allowed to get annoyed. We are allowed to get sort of like upset from time to time. But of course, we can allowed to be happy. And we try to stay in that happy state. There's nothing worse than people going through absolute trauma and then a spiritual person coming, it's okay, everything's wonderful, it's all how it's meant to be. And then that person wonders why they get a sort of like punch on the nose. I think, ow, what would you punch me for? I'm just being nice. Of course you're being nice, but sometimes we can kind of like get into a little bit of a self-delusion a little bit. So what I'm getting for that is, yes, embrace your spiritual gifts. Go for the things that make you feel good. You'll find yourself being guided on a certain path. Always check in with your heart if something comes up for you. Say there's a workshop that you're guided to. Drop it to your heart. Is that good for you? Your heart won't lie. It may say no sometimes, but if your kind of like alignment's good, you'll probably find it's on a right path as well. But at the same time, be human. It's okay. It's okay to eat too many crisps sometimes. It's okay to veg out and watch telly all day. It's okay to have a few bottles of beer or a couple of glasses of wine. Why not? It's about finding, like the first card, remember, finding a happy balance for you. You don't have to be a saint, but just know you're on a path that's right for you. And you'll find as you go up further up that spiral, you'll kind of do the things that are right for you anyway. So some of those lower aspect things may be spun out. They may be, they may not. You could be the most sort of like spiritual person in the world, and when you get home at night, you think like, oh, lovely jubbly. I'm going to enjoy my drink. Thank you very much. That's how it should be in my book. And what does Raziel say? The words at the bottom. Thank you, Raziel or Raziel, for helping me channel my gifts and talents. And just before I go, why not? If you're doing Reiki on somebody, why not ask for a little bit of angelic help? Say, Raziel, I'd like you to help me guide me as I do my Reiki session. They want to help. And then when we ask those angels to help, they will come in and give us that little nudge in ways we may not expect. That's the second one. The final card, before I turn it over, I'd just like to say to everyone, I've done this free little mini ebooklet. Um, it's like kind of like a little tiny little spiritual 1,500 words. It's literally like a tiny article. If you'd like that, just put in the comments, book me up. And then I'll know that's for the booklet, not the reading. Like I say, if you want a reading, just say reading Gaz or something like that. I'll just drop a message and I'll get in touch with you that way. But if you want to book me up, I'll tell you all about this lovely little e-booklet I'm actually putting like a almost finished little complete booklet, which is more information. Okay, but here's the good one. And it's intriguing that this comes up today as I'm kind of like working with these cards. And I know I'm talking to people who may be doing Reiki, never done a card reading in their life, never felt the inclination. My message to you is you could. I love the fact this lady is all in turquoise. Turquoise is a colour for me that I channel. But so many people have told me over the years that I channel this turquoise ray. And so this is very much about healing vibes, but loving the heart energy there. And so what's coming for me, it's like healing can come through card readings like this, believe it or not. It's like if don't underestimate the power of a few kind words. We all kind of get hooked up about we need to put hands here, and here, there, and everywhere. But you know something? It's like often when I have that little chat before we start a session, before we actually go into a treatment session, or at the end, just relaying a few thoughts, allowing that person to open up to really kind of understand why they've come to see you in the first place. It is massive. It's huge. It's like, do not underestimate the power of that little consultation before you begin your session. It really is important. So, and people often think, yeah, but Gary, I'm paying to get on the couch. Do you not think the words that we speak have a healing energy? So when you're talking to your client, you are giving them Reiki whether you're aware of it or not, just by talking with your intention. As long as you're coming from here, that's why that huge heart energy is coming from there. Trust those vibes. So that's one aspect of this card. But the other aspect as well, 100%, is we can do this. You can do what I'm doing right now. I know pretty much most of you watching this, if you want to give this a go, my message is get a pack of cards, and it could literally be playing cards, funny enough, because that's how this all started, would you believe it? And give yourself a reading. Give yourself a reading. Or, get yourself like a few oracle cards from Amazon or whatever. You might come across them in a sale. Don't spend a fortune on them to start with, and just try it out. And it is really trusting your intuition. I haven't done it today, but often you can get the card before you even turn it over and just see what you feel from it, because that helps as well. But the message for me is like, we're listening to the heart, we're listening to our kind of like, dare I say, a higher energy, our energy perception, and speaking words that are kind, are powerful, and uplifting. That's kind of what I try to do with my readings. I know not everybody's the same. Some people like the plain truth, which is fair enough. But me, that's how I operate. I like to give the message of uplifting. And if I get shown an issue, I ask for a solution. That is what I've got there. So would you have a quick recap before we end? So the first card, find your balance. Look at life from a bigger perspective and find what works for you. And be your own boss. Don't worry about other people telling you what's right and what's wrong. You decide. Raziel, spiritual gifts. What's your gift? What's your gift? Get out there and channel that beautiful energy, because if Raziel's given us Reiki, we could certainly get involved, can't we? And trust your vibes. Trust your vibes. Be on the path of kind of like be your own guide. I've just thought that. Be your own guide and speak words of comfort, of upliftment, of kindness, and come from a place of pure love. There we are, everyone. That is my reading for today. A little bit different from what I've been doing lately. Don't worry, I don't do readings all the time because I know this is primarily a Reiki channel, but I can certainly use my Reiki energy when I give the readings. And I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by. I wish you all the very best. Enjoy the rest of your day, the evening, whenever you're watching this. And if those words have proved useful for you, drop a like and just drop a comment. Let me know. Let me know how it goes for you. Thank you so much. Peace out, and I'll see you soon.